Okay, here's an Imperial Party Time record player. Let's see what it does. Has bad filter capacitors, but I just got a order in, and I got a bunch of sprags and other caps, so let's restore this thing. Okay, here's the inside, about as basic as you can get. The tube's Japanese, the whole chassis Japanese. This is the thing that we're interested right here. That's what we're interested in. I think we may want to go ahead and replace this wax cap. See what value it is. The Cosmic 0.1. And it's not polarized. It's the across the line, or the chassis isolation capacitor. I may replace that another day, but today we're just going to focus on this big old honking thing. It's actually not that big. It's actually quite small, but it's bad, so we're going to replace it. So first order of business. It's only a 2-section, so what? Let's go ahead and turn on the soldering iron. I'll turn that on in a second. But yeah, let's get this capacitor out. What is this? 50 and 30 at 150. Now I got that in my junk. Let's turn on the soldering iron. Okay, all that warms up. Okay, this motor's kind of rusty. Let's dig through the junk boxes and I'll be back with the changed caps. Okay, the soldering iron's heated up, and I found 2 capacitors that will work. They need to be close, but the value of them the value of the capacitors, or the microfarad, isn't critical. The only thing that's critical is the working voltage. These are 450 volt. I just got these, so these are fresh new caps. You may think, why are you going to use fresh new caps in some cheap kiddie record player? It's because this one's in quite nice shape. So, with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up putting this cheapo stereo cartridge in here. Because the cartridge that's in here in the tone arm is dead, so let me change these caps and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have all the capacitors changed. I have this shrunken over negative tie point. See, this one's going to the selenium rectifier, and I think this is the cathode. But doesn't that look pretty neat? I think that looks pretty neat. They're pretty secure. Just the tube pins are kind of wobbly. One day I will end up replacing this Cosmic capacitor. I need to order one. I need to order one of these little, they look like these, or this. I'll order one of these, but I would use this, but it's at 63 volts, and this needs to see about 400 or 600 or 500 volts, so this little no-name, non-polarized cap won't work. But when you work on these, you need a good quality soldering iron. You don't need an elaborate soldering station. You can just get the $39 soldering station or soldering pencil. Well, this is a wood burner and it's burned. I tried to melt the caps with it. And you also need some good quality electronic solder. Get the Keister brand if you can afford it. It's expensive, but make sure it's 60-40 It has lead, so obviously don't ingest it. So, and don't get the, if you can afford it, get the name brand kind, not the cheap Chinese kind. But anyway, let me put a new cartridge in this thing and spray some oil in the dry mechanism, and then we should be in business. Okay, so I got it fixed. I kept screwing up the cartridge in the tone arms, so I robbed this off of a junk Sears record player. It's not junk, but I need to find a tone arm for it. I'm going to show that in another video. But I took and this isn't even the original tone arm for it, but looks like something that would have gone on a GE or one of those little universal replacement kitty arms from like the 70s. But it has a Crossley cartridge in it. Not as loud. It doesn't put out as much power as I'd like it to, but it works, and it's kind of heavy. That's all the way up.